my name is Leilani Melendez, and I am a homeschool portfolio evaluator for the state of Florida. I also do consultations worldwide, and I am an approved choice navigator for the Step Up for Students program in Florida for both unique abilities and PEP scholarships. Now, I was a former teacher way long ago, 13 years ago, but I was a former public and private school teacher for 10 years, and I decided to homeschool my kids 13 plus years. I've been doing these evaluations for 13 plus years, as well as working in home education, tutoring, and teaching science for 13 plus years. Now, I don't like to talk about myself too much and give you my credentials, but I felt like I really needed to do that for this video because I'm going to share with you what is it like to sit down with a homeschool portfolio evaluator and have them look through all of your child's year and talk to you about the year and what is it like? What does it look like? Now, the first thing I am going to say, every portfolio evaluator does it differently, but there are homeschool laws. And so right up here, I'm going to stick a video, and it is still valid to this day. I did it like 6 years ago, but the homeschool laws in Florida have not changed. The video is right there. I promise you that if they do change, that video is coming down. I'm going to make a new one. Okay. Now, I also have a complimentary video that goes to that says everything you need to know to homeschool in Florida. I also have links down in the description box below. I also have some videos, some tips on how to make a portfolio, and there is actually a playlist for Florida homeschooling that has all of that information in it. So please feel free to skim that playlist and check those things out. Now, I am also a choice navigator. If you don't know what that is in the state of Florida, I have a video on that one as well too. So if you are part of the PEP program, you are not considered homeschooling in the state of Florida, which I have a video on that one too. Right, it's down in the description box and up here too, because that's really important to understand. The only people that have to do homeschool portfolio evaluations are going to be those in the homeschool laws. That includes anybody who's not taking any money from the PEP, but it also includes those parents that are taking Step Up for Students Unique Abilities Scholarship. They're under the homeschool laws. PEP, you have to do a test at the end, and then you have to turn it into your Emma system. Choice Navigator is optional. That is basically a homeschool consultant, and like I said, I am approved to do that, and all that information is down below. Okay, but I do really want to walk you guys through what's it like to sit down with a homeschool evaluator. Now, every evaluator, first of all, is very different. There are laws, though. And one of the things that the law does state is that as an evaluator, I cannot tell you that you're doing something wrong or right. The only thing that I am checking is that your child has made significant improvements. That's it. In fact, you can design your portfolio however you want to. You can have a Facebook page. I've seen that. I've seen web pages. I've seen people put folders together and send them through different apps. Lots of different apps out there that do that. Google Drive is a very popular app where there's folders and I can kind of skim through. I've also had people hold up actual tangible portfolios that they flip through. So there are so many different ways that you can put this portfolio together. And as an evaluator, I can't tell you how to do it, if it's wrong or right. I can tell you how I do it. I can tell you how I've seen other people do it, but I can't tell you how to do it. All you need to worry about is whether or not your child has made progress and that the portfolio is showing that. That's it. So when I sit down, whether you're going to be using me as an evaluator or someone else, when we sit down, we're going to small talk a little bit. We try to. There's definitely paperwork that has to be filled out, that has to be sent to your district by you, not the evaluator. They have to be sent by you to the district. And so we'll fill out those forms and I'll send them to you via email. It's a PDF form. Basically, you're going to do a show and tell of what your child has accomplished this year. You're doing most of the talking. I'm asking questions as we move along. Your child has to be involved somehow. So whether they're the ones that's showing the portfolio, and I love it when they do that, I really do, but sometimes the parents will show and tell the portfolio and the child sits next to them and I'll ask questions. One of my favorite questions to always ask, I'll just, tell you straight up, like, what was your favorite book to read? very general, we'll talk about the book, or I may ask you, what is your favorite subject? The older kids, I may ask them, what field are you going to study, or something along those lines, just to understand you a little better. Or what did you think about this curriculum? And, what did you like this math? Or, I just ask random, those are my favorite questions to ask. Everybody has their own set of questions that they ask, and they're pretty open-ended, and there's really no wrong answers. Another thing that sometimes, especially for me, if it's your first year, I want to make sure that I set up enough time to kind of answer some of your questions, because in the state of Florida, there's a lot going on and a lot of confusion, and a lot of people just, especially Facebook, people like to say things. And here's one thing that I want to encourage you through this whole process. When it comes to turning things into the state and doing things with the scholarship money, just because it worked for someone in this way may not be the right way to do it, or that may not be the way it works out for you. So when you're trying to gather information on what you're supposed to do in regards to these scholarships, or in regards to turning in paperwork or due dates and stuff like that, you want to go to the source. My favorite source is definitely the Home Education Foundation, which are our lobbyists in the state of Florida. But another source is Step Up for Students. If you're using that scholarship, they always have open houses. And then another source, which I honestly think is one of the best sources for those of you that are trying to figure out due dates, is contact your district, your home education department in the district. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask them questions. Every time I've had to do that, my experience with them has been phenomenal. They're wonderful people, and they really want to help you succeed. They want to see you homeschool, because if you guys homeschool successfully, that's less work for them. And as always, if there are any issues that become legal issues, you can always reach out to HSLDA, which are Homeschool Legal Defense Attorneys. All those, I am going to put links down in the description box below. I'm even going to put a link to the Florida Education Department. So there is a list of all of the people in charge of the home education department in the school district for the county. There's a list. So if you can't find who you need to contact for your district, it's in that list on the Florida Department of Education page. I'm going to put that down in the links down below. I also have a resource page on my website. I'm just giving you guys this video is just me check out the links, because I have all that information for you, and I want to make it as easily available as possible to you to make this process go smoothly. I am very familiar, just to kind of give you a feel, I'm very familiar with a lot of the curriculum that's out there. I know a lot of the authors personally. I've done conferences with them, and I've used a lot of them. And I've seen a lot of them just from all the evaluations that I've done. If you ask me, I will share. That is my motto for a lot of this, that if you have a specific question in our little hour session about, curriculum and stuff, I will give you answers. I really feel like when we do those portfolio evaluations, I give you an hour. By the way, for time frame for me, I don't know about other evaluators, but for me, what I do is if you have 1 to 3 kids, we could do it in an hour. But if you have 4 more kids, it usually takes a little bit more than an hour. So there's a 2-hour block. If you have 10 kids, we might have to do a 3-hour block. So we kind of play it by ear. If you have 10 kids, reach out to me before you book. It's all set up on my website too, and there's a link to that down below too if you want to use me as your evaluator. I do want to add too, if you do choose to use me as a choice navigator, I'm totally jumping gears on you guys, and I hope I'm not confusing you. That I am a provider through Step Up for Students. If you are going to be using the scholarship money to pay for a choice navigation session, you still have to sign up on my website with a time slot first before you go into that. Just as a little side note there. Okay, so back to the portfolio evaluation. If you have a question, ask me and I will share within our time frame. And especially for those new homeschoolers, I want to make sure that you're comfortable moving forward. I want to make sure, when it comes to the paperwork and the contacting the district and understanding the scholarship, I want to make sure that you understand that. And then you understand what's expected of you from the district. And I want to make your life a lot easier is basically my goal. I will also add that as your kids get older and you get into the groove, because you will get into the groove. It will happen. These evaluations will be so much faster. So for example, today, I've already worked 4 hours today, and in my 4 hours, I had a new homeschool mom. We spent an entire hour talking about this one student and the plans and all the things. But then right afterwards, I had a mom that has 2 kids, and we were done in like 15, 20, 30 minutes. I know her kids, I know her routine. We're like boom, 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 done. I had all their paperwork done ahead of time, so it was done. We had it done. So know that these processes will speed up. You'll get used to them. And really, honestly, when you find an evaluator that you're comfortable with, you will use them probably over and over again. And I really do hope that you will reach out to me. I care a lot about my families, and I try to make it as enjoyable as possible. Of course, this channel is a resource for you, not just for those in the state of Florida, but for really anyone. And I want to be honest and upfront and very transparent with you. I've got over 700 videos on this channel, my entire journey. Like 7 years ago, when I was a straight up loser doing YouTube, maybe I wasn't a loser, but I definitely learned a lot through those 7 years. And if I'm not too embarrassed, I went ahead and left it on just so you could see the progress and the journey, because that's what this homeschool thing is all about. It's about the journey and the progress and learning from your mistakes, because we're all going to make mistakes and we're all going to mess up, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Like I said, feel free to reach out. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. Anyway, here's the playlist, by the way. I'm sticking it right here for the Florida homeschooling playlist. And I'm going to stick the Choice Navigator one right here too, if you guys are interested in that. Thank you guys so much, and hopefully I'll see you around. Bye.